The following podcast is a TJ DeSantis production. Comments, questions, and inquiries can be sent to DeSantisProd@gmail.com.
Are you talking shift? We are. It's time for the We're Talking Shift podcast. Now. Here to talk shift are your hosts, Loree Bischoff and Candice Parisi. We're Talking Shift.
Hi, I'm Loree Bischoff.
And I'm Candice Parisi, and we're talking shifts. Today, we're going to be talking about the perils of revenge.
Dun, dun, dun.
But before we talk about that serious subject, I need to tell you something. So the other day, I was driving down the road.
Right.
Yeah. And I stopped at a train that was going. It was probably like a 25-minute train. It just kept going by. Just millions of cars of trains. I don't know what was in these things, but probably coal. Right? Is that what that's what trains take nowadays?
I'm not sure. It seems like every time I see a train, I don't see anything in there.
Right, it's just going nowhere.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. And so it reminded me of the time where you were like, I have a bucket list. Mm-hmm. And one of the things on my bucket list is to jump on a moving train.
Yeah, it is. I want to hop a moving train. I think that would be a really, before I die, I just think it'd be great to be like, yep, there was that one time to my grandkids, the grandma. Yeah.
I just don't think you've put
hopped a moving train.
Yeah.
I'll tell you about it.
I don't think you put all the thoughts into it, because as I was sitting there for 25 minutes watching these cars go by one on this train, I realized that it's going somewhere, and I thought about your bucket list, and I think it's a poor idea. I don't.
Poor.
Where are you going to be going? Like, are you going to hop right back off? Are you going to go 500 miles? Are you going to sit on a bunch of coal?
Well, all right. First of all, I have thought through this a little.
Okay.
A little.
Okay.
All right. I've hit a couple of obstacles in my thoughts, so I'm still planning and plotting. You can't hop on a moving train where there's not an empty car for you to get into. So I'm not going to jump on something that's full of coal.
Right.
So
Good call.
that wouldn't
okay.
work.
All right.
So I'm looking for something that's moving very slow.
Okay. Okay. Extremely slow.
Like it's just starting out.
Okay.
It hasn't really picked up speed yet. I mean, I'm not going to hop a train moving at 80 miles an hour, obviously.
That's okay.
I'm not going to be on horseback
Good call.
racing up the side of the track like a bandit trying to jump on the train.
Right.
Okay, so it's got to be something, I'm realistic.
Obviously.
So
it would have been a cooler story for your grandkids, though, if you were on a horse.
It would be.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm I'm realistic.
Yeah, you are.
So this is going to be a train that is moving at a reasonably slow pace.
Okay.
And my thought was, originally I was thinking, maybe I could find one where I know where the end point is, so I could just pack a little lunch, have a backpack, and hop on it, ride it for maybe, just like to the next town, to the next stop, have a sandwich.
Right.
Which
I
don't
have to have when you're jumping on a train.
I don't normally eat them, but I'm not a sandwich person, but it just seemed like the thing to do in a train car.
Right.
While I'm, waiting for it to slow down enough for me to jump off without breaking my legs.
Right. You need those extra carbs and that ham and cheese
right.
and mustard.
Yeah. So
to give you the energy.
Yeah. So that's the thing, that way I can whip up my camera. If it's slow enough, I might even be able to do a quick selfie. As soon as I grab on with one hand.
Selfie with the other.
Oh, maybe a little video.
Oh,
so
boy.
It's like totally, you can see that it's moving. I don't want to try to swerve anybody and fake it.
Yeah, no way.
Be the real deal.
Yeah.
I'm not into faking it. So.
No.
So that's my thing. And you know what? If I've got a plan B, if I can't find one where I can, get the schedule, then I'm just going to ride it for a little ways, like maybe a mile or two. That way I can hop off and just jog on back to my vehicle. That's my thought.
I like it.
I think it's
great.
I think it's good.
It's something you gotta do by yourself. It feels like a Lone Ranger thing. Where
You think?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, do you have somebody else? Like, maybe. I mean, I kind of want to do it with you, but
I know it's. I'm telling you, I've shared this bucket list idea with several friends, and everybody's like, "Well, I want to do that with you." So I think that it's not just me.
Right.
There's a lot more people than you realize that have this on their bucket list, or like a secret fantasy. That's my thought. So could be a whole crowd of us.
It could be a whole crowd.
Maybe we'll just then hire a film crew.
Yeah.
We can have a medic on standby.
Sure, like it could be a whole thing. It no longer is spontaneous at all. It
No, it's
becomes
going
like
to be
a
totally planned
orchestrated thing.
Right.
Yeah, the train knows. The train guy
water
is
bottles to hand it to us along the way, like a marathon. You know, they have them staged.
Yeah. Yeah, the inside the train car is just a spa.
That would be nice.
That'd be amazing. I have a bucket list idea too.
Tell me something.
I want to go dog sledding, but like in Alaska or Canada, it's to go, have these beautiful dogs and just take off for hundreds of miles to some weird cabin in the middle of nowhere where you can watch the aurora borealis, the colors in the sky, and just the idea of just being pulled, and the energy with that. I don't know. That's definitely on my bucket list. I'm definitely going to do that.
I think that sounds amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to do that if it was toasty warm in Alaska. Is there a warm season that dogs can still sled? Because I get cold so easy.
Yeah, you
but
do.
I love sled dogs. We owned a sled dog for a little while years ago. I purchased, there was a local woman here in Cody, Wyoming, who was selling some of hers, and we got her lead sled dog. Her name was Surge. She was beautiful. Isn't that cool?
Awesome. That's totally, was it a husky?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, well, I will buy you a electric blanket outfit.
Yeah.
And then you'll be warm and toasty.
I would love it. I would so do that with you if I'm invited. I don't know. Maybe, again, it's one of those things you don't want anybody along, but should you want company? And should you be able to find me something that's electric from head to toe and keep me warm?
Yes.
I'm there.
All right. Perfect. All right. It's on the list.
I'm there.
Well, good. Well, I came across a quote.
Let's hear it.
That I really like just the other day. And the quote is, "The best revenge is no revenge. Move on and be happy." And I think that is a brilliant quote. It's very simple, but the best revenge is no revenge. I think that people carry these grudges. They want to get back at people. It's so heavy. And the best revenge, though, is not to have any, because then you're not giving the other person power anymore. So I love this. I love this quote.
Yeah, it's simple, to the point, and it's very powerful. It's very true, because when that's a hard one too. Many of us really can get caught in that trap of payback.
Oh yeah.
That's what it is. You must pay for making me suffer. And it is a horrible trap to be in, because like a trap, it's one that's hard to get out of, because it just sets up a cycle.
Oh, it totally does. And human beings make mistakes, and we hurt each other. And so at some point you're going to hurt somebody else, probably several people in your life. And you certainly don't want them to take revenge out on you. And so I think that it's heavy when a person holds that hard place inside of themselves and just carries it around and wants to get somebody back. It just feels like you can't live your life fully.
It's true, because you're stuck then. You're stuck. You're like a prisoner of that past issue or past story. And as long as you keep feeling like I'm going to get you back, as long as you have some version of that vibe going on, you are you can't break free of it. You're just living there. You're keeping it alive. You're keeping the story alive, and you're actually perpetuating it because you know what's going to happen. Then the person that you feel wronged you, that now needs to pay, or that you need to revenge on, then they're going to do the exact same thing that you're doing. So now it's going to be this cycle of drama that just is never ending, or it's going to end very, very badly, worse than what the initial, crime, if you will, was.
Yeah. And I don't know. For myself, I'm just too lazy. I'm just too lazy to want to seek revenge on somebody. I'm too lazy to hate. I think it takes a lot of work. You have to expend so much fucking energy into, I have to think about you. I have to put energy into you. I have to think about the things I want to, the revenge I want to place upon you. And it's tiring. I don't know how people do it when they're doing it chronically in their life. I'm just lazy to it. It just takes too much of my time and energy, and so I just don't do it at all. If somebody fucks with me, then it happens, and I quickly just drop it because I want to move on. Like, it's not going to be something that keeps me in a space of, fear, or keeps me in a space of not living my own life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Your focus it's a resource. So just like your time, your energy, your focus, all of those things are resources that pull on you. So if you give energy to that situation, that person, you're just, all of your resources are going there. You feel bad, you're consumed with it, you're missing, things that are going on right now that are good. And when you should be focusing on just what you want to do moving forward and the good things and the possibilities in your life, instead you're spending a lot of time spinning your wheels, dwelling on something that somebody else did. And really, it's not your job to teach somebody else a lesson. Not in that sense. We're not talking parenting here. We're talking people that are behaving badly, right? And you think that somebody's done something to you that was horrible. It's not your job to teach them now how to punish them and teach them a lesson and get them to see the error of their ways. It isn't. Don't make it your job. Your job is to manage yourself.
Right. Right. So you're telling me then that in your whole life, even when you were a child, you never seeked revenge on anybody ever?
Oh, no, I'm not telling you that at all. I've been there, girl. Let me just tell you, it didn't end well either.
No.
To our point,
Tell me, please.
I paid for my vengeful ways. So yeah, I'll give you a story.
Okay, good.
Yeah, and I was a slow learner, so it's not like this was the only time, but I eventually got there.
Okay.
So, gosh, many moons ago, when I was about 7. Okay. My family lived in the city, and in Minneapolis. So, when you're in the city, you have the houses are fairly close together, and you have sidewalks and alleys, and even if people have fences on their backyards, you can usually see across to all the other houses down the block. There's not big privacy walls and stuff. So I had friends over. That'll make sense in a minute. I had a couple of friends over. Mm-hmm. I thought they were my friends. Anyway. Kirky and Nikki.
You remember their names?
Oh, yes. I remember their last name, too.
Oh, God.
But I'm not going to say it because I don't want anybody that's got my back right now going out taking care of business for me on my behalf. So Kirky and Nikki are over. We're in my bedroom, playing something. I don't know. And I had a table. I collected rocks. I've always loved them. I had a little table set up in my room, and I had my little rock display on it. And I had my 2 little favorite polished agates sitting on the top of this, little creation that I had going on. I went in to use the bathroom. I left Kirky and Nikki unattended in my bedroom because I trusted them.
Mistake number one.
There you go. They were like a brother and sister team.
Ah.
So I came back out, and the little hoodlums had stolen my 2 favorite agates.
What?
It was very obvious because they were right there on top. I knew where every rock was, and they were gone. And I was very upset, and I said, I know you took my rocks. I think you should give them back. And they refused. They denied, because, they're probably in politics now. Yeah. And I...
or in prison.
Anyway, so I call Mom, and I say, Mom, Corky and Nikki stole my 2 favorite rocks. I think you should search them and get them out, because I'm sure they were in their pockets, right? And I don't think they were quite savvy enough at that young age to hide them like in any secret body cavities or anything.
Jeez.
So I'm sure they were.
Probably not.
I'm sure they were in their pockets.
Yeah.
So easy to get. And Mom said, she's not going to do that, I guess, to her credit. She refused to search them. So, all right. So that was the end of play date. They were out, and I was upset, but I didn't forget. I did not forget. This was in the summertime. Mm-hmm. Winter comes.
Oh, my goodness.
The first snowfall. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking out my window, and these 2 little hoodlums have come over to my yard, and they have made trails all over the fresh snow in my backyard. And when you're a kid and you get that first snowfall, it's very important that you're the first one to go out and mess it up. You get to be the one to make fresh new trails and build forts and all that. So these 2 came over and they made trails all through the fresh snow in my backyard. So that's 2 strikes against him now. I'm hot. I am hot, right? Cut to next fall. See, this was percolating for some time. The next fall, I look across the yards because I can see over, past the 2 houses between us, down to their house. And I see that it's a family outing. They're all leaving. And it was fall, so we had lots of leaves, and they had raked up all the leaves in their yard in some nice piles. So they pull out of the driveway. I gather my little gang of friends, and I'm like, here's the mission, kids. We're going on down to the... I almost said their name. I shouldn't, though. I shouldn't.
Smiths.
We're going on down to the Smiths' house, and we're gonna make some trouble here. We get down there. I'm like, all right, here's your job. I want you to scatter all of these raked up leaves all over the yard.
Wait. How old are you again?
Like 7.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, 7-ish.
Okay.
A year and a half's gone by now.
Yeah,
so
and you're the leader of these.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Okay. Hard to imagine, I know.
No, yeah.
So while my little worker bees are trashing the yard,
right,
I go check the door because I'm thinking they're working so hard. I should see if they have any snacks. So I go. They left the door unlocked. I go into their house. I go into the kitchen, into the fridge. I find some apples. It was apple season. They were delicious. I come out. I'm thinking I'm going to give my friends some apples. And as I'm walking out of the door with apples in hand, they return. They pull up. They see me. They see all of these shenanigans going on, and I am caught red-handed, not only trashing the yard, but now I'm a thief. I've gone in and breaking and entering and stolen apples. Gosh. So I run home as fast as I can. I think I just dropped the apples and ran.
Good call.
Because that's what you do when you're 7.
Yeah.
You're not going to face anything. So at the end of the day, it worked against me because I got grounded. I got grounded. So that was the thing about when you're going to go out and try to have your revenge, teach people a lesson, it's probably going to come back and slap you in the face.
Yeah.
That's what it did for 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
2 weeks grounded.
Your mom didn't even stick up for you.
My mom, actually, she did. My dad did the grounding for 2 weeks.
Oh, gotcha.
But when Dad was gone, Mom would let me go outside, ride my bike. She was awesome.
What an awesome story. You were a badass.
I was such a badass.
Dang.
Yeah, city kid.
You kept that grudge going at 7 years old. I don't know if I remembered stuff like 6 months. You held it.
I did.
It's amazing. Amazing.
I had to set an example.
Yep.
And stand up for, my rocks,
For
my
the
rights.
agates. Mm-hmm.
So, anyway,
Yeah.
don't.
What were their names? Nikki and what?
Nikki and Kirky. So when they were kids, he was Kirky,
Kirky.
but Kirk.
That's a dumb name anyway.
Right?
Kirky.
Yeah.
Stupid.
So, what you must have something that you did when you were younger, before you were brilliant.
Before I was brilliant. Yeah. I got myself cornered into doing a reality show. And how it worked was I was driving home from work. I worked with homeless people, and so I was driving home from work, and I heard on the radio they were saying, "Hey, do you want to be part of something called the reality ride, where you can win a car?" And I was like, "Sure." I was young. I was like, "Sure, I want to." All you got to do is call in and tell us why you should be on the reality show. And so I'm like, all right. So I call while I'm driving, and I just talk myself up, and and I hang up the phone and I forget about it. And then a couple of days later, they called me and they're like, "We'd really like you to come in." And I was like, this is a joke. But I did. I went in, and there was 1,000 people there that they had come in, and then they interview each person, and everybody leaves. And then they called me back again, and now there's only 100 people. And I'm like, holy shit, I'm going to have to do this. And then we all leave again, and then we come back, and they say, you are one of the 12 people. And now I'm committed to this, and I'm feeling very insecure about it. So the reality show is that for 12 days, you have to sit in a car inside of a mall. And there's 3 cars with 4 people in each car.
Oh, so the cars are in the mall.
They're
not
in the mall.
parking lot.
No, they're inside the mall.
Okay.
And so you just sit there, and every 2 hours they'll let you out to use the restroom. But the game is whoever's the last one standing gets a car.
Okay.
And so I'm claustrophobic. This is not my thing. But they're like, okay, well, build a character for yourself. Like, what do you want to be? And I'm like, all right, I'll be an asshole. Like, so,
really?
Yeah, really.
I don't know.
Yeah, you didn't
Hard
see that
picture
coming.
you.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
And so I played this character of being this, like, an asshole. And so I had to do all this promotional stuff beforehand. I'm hyping up the whole state of Arizona on this stupid thing. And still, it's not registering that I'm going to actually do this. So the day comes. It's 4:00 in the morning. The 12 of us have to shovel into this mall. I've been talking shit about everybody for 2 weeks, including all the people that I'm in the cars with. And I'm determined to win this car. Get in the car, 4:00 in the morning. As soon as the door shuts, I am 100% sure I don't want to do this anymore. There is no way I'm going to be able to sustain this.
So you already know you're claustrophobic.
I'm claustrophobic.
You've been second guessing. You weren't really serious from the get-go.
No.
But it's not until you actually get in the car that you go, I don't think so.
I invested all the way up to the point where I was actually doing it. And then I was like, this is some bullshit. And so the mall opens, and like hundreds of people rush these cars, and we're signing autographs. It's really ridiculous. Mm-hmm. I am getting more and more claustrophobic, but I've played this character for weeks on how I'm this dick that's like definitely going to win this car and everybody else sucks, right?
Right.
That's the character that I chose. and so I played it up, like I went full force into it. And so the day goes by. I want to die. I'm just not into this at all. And it becomes night. And now they have the malls closed, and they have people guarding the cars to make sure if you get out, you are done. You're not in the game anymore. You forfeited.
So do you ruin it for the whole?
No.
Okay, so the other three can still. You don't ruin it for the whole everybody in the car. It's just you're out.
You're
they
out.
still get to move on.
Yeah,
Okay.
they get to move on. And so there was a woman who was guarding the car, and I looked at her and I said, I'm getting out of this fucking car. And she said, don't do it. And she looked at me and she reminded me that earlier that day they had like a big band there, and they let me come out and introduce the band out of the car.
They
and when
chose you.
Yeah, they chose me. And when I introduced the band, I said, and there was thousands of people there. I said, and my birthday's tomorrow. Make sure that you bring me some cake tomorrow. And everybody's like, yeah. So
Was it really your birthday?
It was my birthday.
Oh, it really was?
Yeah, it really
Okay.
was.
All right, that part was true.
Yeah, and so everybody was stoked on that. She's like, don't get out of the car. There's going to be people here bringing you birthday cake. Don't get out of the car. And I'm like, I'm getting out of the car. I don't care what you have to say. This is torture. This is torture. This is not for me. And so I bust out of the car. Everybody else is sleeping. It's like 2:00 in the morning. I sneak out of the car. I grab my crap and I get in the car and I go home. And the next morning I wake up like it's just any other day that and I turn on the TV and I turn on the radio and just see what's going on. And everybody is woken up and the mall's opened, and apparently 100+ people brought cake to the mall to give to me for my birthday and sing happy birthday to me.
Yeah.
And I wasn't there. I was at home sleeping.
Of course you weren't.
And part of the contract was I have to come back when they eliminate each person.
Okay.
And so I'm just like, this is going to be terrible for me. I have already set myself up for failure. I have played this character where I'm an asshole and I've told everybody that they suck, but I'm the one that left. And so I'm a quitter. And they're like on the news, they were like, Candice left. She's a quitter.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now everyone in Arizona knows.
Everybody in Arizona knows this is a giant just joke. And so I have to go back that evening because they're going to eliminate somebody from a car. And so I go to the mall. There's tons and tons and tons of people there. I sneak in the back because all I have to do contractually is just say, hey, I'm here, right?
Okay.
So I just sneak in the back and they know I'm there. And the person on the microphone says, Candice is here. She's a quitter. And like every single person turned around and it was just chaos in my direction. And it was all the shit that I said that was wild to all of these people that were in the car, and just all of my building myself up turned around, and pure revenge.
So you were the recipient.
I was the
this
recipient
case of the revenge.
Yeah.
Although you brought it on yourself.
I brought it on myself, right? I was the recipient of the revenge that I brought upon myself, and I had to go back again and again and again and just take it. Wow. Because I set up this character who you want to give revenge to, because I was like, I'm going to win this.
You were the mouthy biatch of the group.
Yeah, and I was the first one. I was the quitter.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was my birthday. That's what I did.
I realized as you're telling this story that I'm noticing a pattern.
What's the pattern?
Well, you chose the character for yourself.
Totally did.
You chose to be the one that's the asshole, that's mouthing off to everybody, and you're just mean. And, yeah. And I had a flash of when you told us that you once were the Drench-a-wench.
Yeah.
And
that's all I did there.
That was exactly what you did there.
I'm really good at that. Like I'm good at running my mouth. If I need to get out of a situation, I know how to run my mouth. For sure. I don't know where I learned that from. It wasn't my mom. She's a quiet lady. Somewhere along the way, I learned that I have a very quick mouth
Right.
that I have to be careful with. But in I always choose, I do in like any sort of acting or anything like that,
Right.
I'll always choose to be an asshole.
Well,
But in real life, I'm not. But like, it's so fun. I guess it's the dichotomy.
Exactly. I was
Yeah.
going to say, because it's so opposite of who you really are.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't get much more opposite end of the stick. So that's why it's actually so funny.
Yeah.
And if any of our listeners have not heard the Drench-a-Wench story, it's I can't remember what episode, maybe 3 or 4, but check it out because it's pretty hysterical. So anyway, now although, I don't have super clear memories of everything from my young age, but I don't recall doing anything to warrant having my rocks stolen by the little neighborhood hoodlums. So I don't know. I don't think I deserved that.
Yeah.
But
I definitely deserved revenge.
You did.
Yeah.
I did not deserve.
Oh, no, you didn't.
I know.
You were innocent.
I was totally.
Yeah. You were totally innocent. I would have been pissed.
And until I became a thief.
Yeah.
Right,
And then you
then
stole the apples.
Right. So it wasn't the end of my thieving ways. I will, maybe we'll save that for another day.
Yeah.
But yes.
But last week.
Right. So anyway, yes, crime and revenge do not pay.
I don't.
You just don't.
Revenge is it's just sticky and it's hard to manage in your own heart. I don't know. It's just not. It's not a way to live.
No, it eats away. It eats away at you.
Mm-hmm.
It robs you of what's going on right now. It robs you of the life experience that you could be having in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if you really do want to create a better experience of your life, you really would do yourself a favor. We all need to just let go of that stuff. We don't keep the story alive.
Right.
We don't keep breathing life into it. So, just a note here. Do you
What?
realize, I'm looking at you, and do you realize you have your, dear, do you realize you have your shirt on inside out? I just thought I'd ask if that was intentional or
How dare
what's
you?
going on here.
How dare you talk about this right now? Yes, I did not know that until now, but now I kind of want to reap revenge on you.
Punish me?
I'm gonna go find your fucking rocks.
You're gonna. I do have a lot still.
Yeah. It is inside out. Well, you know what? I'm a busy woman.
I'm way more important things.
Not
to think
into
about.
fashion.
Right. So I think this brings us to our segment, Dear Shift Doctors. Do we have a?
Yeah, dear shift doctors, this is where you give us your questions, and then we answer them, and it could be about anything. And today we have Jill from North Dakota. She writes in, Dear Shift Doctors, thank you for your help in advance. I have a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old. I quit my job to stay home with my kids, and now I'm ready to get back into the job market. It would really make me happy, but I would feel so guilty. I won't be able to be available to them every minute of the day like I have been. Is it wrong for me to want to go back to work? Am I rushing it? Oh, that's a good question.
That's an excellent question, Jill. Where did you say Jill is from again?
North Dakota.
Jill from North Dakota. Okay, so the kids are 12 and 14.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here's my take. Thinking back to, what I was up to, and when my kids were, and they were just about that far apart too, 12 and 14, so they were 18 months. So I can kind of relate to this, and I can relate to starting to just get a little bit itchy to do something in addition to being a full-time mom.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what I would say. I wasn't quite ready yet myself at that time, but I think if I was, I would not have felt guilty about it at all, because Jill, at this age, your kids are, they've probably got their friends, they've probably got activities. I mean, it's not like they're toddlers. They don't need you every minute of the day. I think that there's a lot to be said for setting an example of following something else that's calling to you for your kids. And it's not like I don't think you're talking about like being gone on traveling the world, for months at a time. It sounds like you just want to get back into the workplace. So I would say that as long as your kids understand that this is something that's important to you, and it doesn't mean that you're not going to be, still be their mom full time. They just might have to make their own snack after school.
Right, exactly. I totally agree. Jill, I think that it's important for your kids, too, to see you happy doing things in life so that they know when they grow up they can do that as well. And so that's why I think it's so important that if working makes you happy and it's part of who you are, and you've already been such a great parent, and now they're old enough to make their own grilled cheese sandwich, I don't know why you wouldn't do that, even if it's part-time, even if you don't like go all in. I think that you've already set these kids up for success, and they're grounded and balanced in their life, and you feel like maybe you can trust leaving them and they're not going to tear up the house. I think that right. I don't know why you wouldn't do that.
Yeah, two things. Number one, guilt is bullshit.
Yes, amen.
That is like one of the biggest things that plagues mothers is guilt. And you're not doing yourself any favors or your kids by carrying around guilt. So if you're going to choose to go start working outside the home, then do it with a clear conscience. Don't do it with guilt hanging around you. It'll wear you down. It's going to cause conflicts in your beliefs. It's just, and that's just an energy that's going to be picked up on. Don't set that scenario up for your kids to see.
Yeah.
Right. And then the other thing, the other thing is, with you being away a little bit more, this is an opportunity for your kids to step up a little bit. And again, not only learning to make their own snack, but they can start contributing a little bit more around the house. I mean, that's how you learn to be a contributing member of society. You start in your own house. So if you want your children to grow up and be able to stand on their own 2 feet and be self-sufficient, but also be a contributing member of the society that they live in, it starts learning to do that at home.
Exactly. I completely agree. This is such a great question, Jill. Thank you so much for writing in. And if there is anybody that has any questions out there, you would go to wordtalkingshiftpodcast.com and leave your questions there for the Shift Doctors.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. So
thank you, Jill.
Thank you very much, Jill. Let us know how it goes.
Yeah.
So our shift gift takeaway before we sign off today is this: when it comes to revenge and wanting to wreak havoc on somebody else's life because you feel they've done that to you, just remember, crime doesn't always pay.
It does not. It does not.
But seriously,
take
really,
it from a criminal.
Yeah. Take it from an ex. So you really have to mind your mind. This is where you need to do your own work. We all need to just intentionally direct our focus to things that make us feel good. So when you find yourself living back in that story, you have to make the conscious effort to redirect your focus. It's like directing a ship, and force yourself to dwell on things that make you feel good. And with some practice, you will be able to turn the ship around, and it'll be a lot easier than to just let it go.
Exactly. The best revenge is no revenge.
Perfect. So, everyone, if you liked what you heard, please feel free to go over to iTunes, give us a rating. We would love to see some stars. And as always, we appreciate your comments and questions. And you can also find our links to our podcast on Patreon. Patreon.com/Talk and Shift. The podcast is there, and please, we would love you to join us in our Give a Buck movement. So go there and check it out.
Yes, and we're also all over social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter on We're Talking Shift Podcast.
Okay, everyone, thank you. Go out and make some shift happen.
You too, Gary V.
The preceding podcast was a TJ DeSantis production. Comments, questions, and inquiries can be directed to DeSantisProd@gmail.com.